before we move into this week?
It was a big win, of course. We needed a win. They were at the top with us, so now we stand alone. But, we've got 3 games left. For sure, we have to win 2 of the 3 in order to at least split with somebody for the conference championship. You wish you could have beat Incarnate Word, because this week you'd be playing for basically a share of the conference championship if we'd have won. But it is what it is. Maybe not have beaten UCA if we'd have beaten UIW. So everything happens for a reason. But we're in a good situation right now. But we just gotta, we gotta continue to play well, and we got an opponent, Southeastern, who always plays us well, and they're not too far down the road. They're 2 hours. And so it's going to be a tough game. I know that.
What does it say about the team, after you lose the game like you did at UIW, you come back and beat UCA like you did? I mean, just a hard-nosed, grinded-out football game. What does that say about the character of the team?
Well, it goes to show you that open date isn't always good, and then after a loss can be good. You worry about your kids after a loss, how they're going to respond, but I think they respond really good. And then, after the open date, we just didn't play as well. So hopefully we continue to play well. Hopefully we can play even better than we did last week against Southeastern and start playing our best football down the stretch. Because if we're lucky enough to get in the playoffs, we'll need to be playing at a higher level than we are right now.
Coach, Southeastern, they're another team like to pass the ball a lot. The one thing, or one of the biggest thing I think the defense has struggled with has been kind of the deeper passing. Just how do you prepare? What do they do well as far as passing game?
Well, people are going to throw it up, and with big wide receivers, there's a chance they come down with it. So that's just college football today. It's hard to get 6'3", 6'4" corners to go up cover 6'3" wide receivers. So there's always the element of wide receivers also pushing off, which they don't call anymore. It's the most missed call in college football every year. There's statistics to show it. So you're going to give up some plays. And last week, of course, we were in coverage on the first play, and we just missed the interception. So we're going to force them to pass the ball. You got to stop the run. It always starts there. You got to try to make them one-dimensional, so at least you can start calling defenses that allows you to play better pass coverage. But they got a mobile quarterback, which is concerning, of course, and they have a wide receiver, number 5, who is really dynamic, and they have some big receivers as well. So we'll have to get some pressure on the quarterback, but it all starts up front, trying to stop the run, and then we'll go from there.
Is there an overall shift in playing defense? Because on all levels we do see it's impossible to cover. You can't hit the quarterback. It's almost a game of you're going to give up plays. Is there a different psyche now than giving up plays? Our
guys never feel like that. We haven't conceded yet. We're not gonna. I think we gave up 400 and whatever yards, and that's a lot by our standard. But in college football today, that's very, very normal. Really, if you hold anybody underneath 400 yards today, you pat yourself on the back as a coordinator. I don't feel that way. Our goal is to hold an opponent under 330 each and every week, no matter who you play, and so that's always going to be our goal. So, no, we haven't conceded to that yet. We're still, the top in the conference in yardage per game, and we just need to continue to play well. We, take away some plays the other night. The long run, 39, 40 yards. They held B.J. Blunt. It was bad. And then the first play of the game, that's probably roughly 100 yards of offense. So we could have held that team to 300 yards of offense if it wasn't for those 2 plays. And it was a holding, and we should have made the interception. So that was kind of disappointing. But it is what it is. You still got kids out there trying to make plays against other players, and stuff happens.
Is it more important now because of that in defense to, like I said, make the play when you get a chance to make an interception, to make the interception in the end zone, to get the sack? For the defense to make big plays?
It is. When you have opportunity to make a play, you got to seize the moment, because you don't know when that next opportunity is going to come. And they're going to make some plays, of course, but you just got to make them go to the next set of downs and try to get a stop there and force them to field goals and punts. And can't let big plays lead to touchdowns. That's the biggest thing. So when I always look at big plays, I look at the big plays, how many went for touchdowns, and that's where I really harp on. But you're going to give up big plays. It's just the way it is, unless your DBs are just so much better than the wide receivers. And they have to be so much better because of all the things you're asking defensive backs to do. You ask them to support the run, especially in the 4-2-5. We got 5 DBs, so that's half the defense. And those guys got to be tied into stopping the run, but then they have to play the pass as well. And so it's a tall task, but we've been doing it for a while, and we still, in my opinion, still playing really good football on defense.
The last 2 or 3 games, I've been recording all of them, like pro games and college games and everything, and I've been recording them. And Charleston is about 5th in the pros and the collegiate punting average.
Dang. Might get drafted then, huh, John? That's what you're saying.
I'm telling you.
He is punting really good. I know that. He's booming them, and hopefully he can continue. The only thing about Shelston is, with the NFL scouts, they always ask about his height. So they've got that thing broken down to a science to where they want guys that look a certain way. They got cookie cutters, and that's just the way it is in the NFL. When you spend a lot of money on an item, so say, they want to look a certain way, along with getting results. But we tell him, he is what he is. He's 5'9", 5'10", but this is his average, and you take a chance on him if you want. So he's punting really good. I know that.
Aside from the obvious energy that Cody brought with the offense, what was the biggest difference you saw in the offense this past week?
Well, the ability to run. We ran a quarterback draw 2 times and had a touchdown and another big run. And now defensive ends, they've got to honor that he can pull the ball, so they can't chase like they normally do. They can't rush the passer with reckless abandonment. You got to be gap sound now because Cody can step through there. So he presents problems. I know as a defensive guy what a mobile quarterback can do. And I really never worried about him with the game being too big, and a lot of people say, man, why would you start a guy for the first time in a big conference game, really for the lead of the conference? I'd never worried about Cody. We played him all year, getting him ready for maybe a day like this, and just so happened that it was time to pull the trigger and make the change because we got a little stagnant, and he played, well. He played up to the challenge. We didn't play perfect by any means, but he made enough plays for us to give us a chance to win the game.
With a quarterback like that can run the ball, they have to use a spy usually.
Mm-hmm.
What advantages can you take of a spy on defense?
Well, if you spy, a lot of people do it on 3rd down, of course, is when you really spy. Other than that, you're probably going to get a lot less defensive linemen really rushing outside their lanes and really running around the quarterback, which I always hope on our guys never run around the quarterback, stay on the same level as him to keep the integrity of the cup. But sometimes, if they feel like a quarterback isn't mobile, they take chances and they start running around and making plays. And then when offensive linemen overset, they come underneath. So now they have to rush with a little bit more care and on early downs, and of course on 3rd downs they'll spy. And anytime you spy, you're either taking a guy out of coverage or you're taking one guy out of the rush. So you can take advantage of that by different ways. Probably have more wide open passes by them using a guy that way, or there's a lot less rushers. They're rushing 3 and they spying a guy behind them, which a lot of people tried on Johnny Manziel. But I always say if we're going to spy with a guy, we got to make sure that spy is as faster than the quarterback. So that's why we always use Michael Uday as a spy, and then B.J. Blunt's our spy now. So
You feel good to be able to run the clock out, sort of, and get not only the last drive, but the drive before that where you kind of grinded it out?
Yeah, that was huge, being able to use that clock. And, we used a lot of the clock going to get that field goal. And then, of course, when we did get the stop and they punted, we went ahead and made a 1st down, and they ran out of time, of course. They didn't have any more timeouts, which was huge. So, yeah, it's always good to end the game in victory offense for sure.
Coach, do you tell the offensive play or suggest to the play callers that you run Cody more? Not run him, but bootlegs, everything, because he even admitted in the press conference, he runs, he throws better on the run.
Yeah.
So do you suggest that to them or have him run more? Because, especially if the other team's in man coverage, if he gets loose, he could get a big gain. But do you say anything to the coaches about that?
Yeah, well, this past week, of course, I was involved with a lot of the game planning and just trying to make sure we got off to a good start and doing some things that he was comfortable with. And, of course, we had a lot of run stuff that was reads for him, and then we sprinted him out once or twice, and we had some nakeds for him as well. So we'll continue to do that throughout the stretch and just try to game plan what people give you, So I think we did a good job of creating some plays that matched him and what he did well. So we'll continue to try to do those things, but we can't become predictable as well.
Were you impressed with how he looked the part? He seemed like he really fit in and took control of the huddle.
He did, but we've seen it. We saw it during fall camp when he took some snaps as the starter, and we saw it in the spring. And of course, through the course of the year, I know against Nichols, he came in and he had a drive. We might have led to a field goal. Or I can't remember. It was a touchdown or a field goal when he came in against Nichols in the second quarter. But we've seen him play out in front before. Just through the course of the year, he's had to come off the bench. And either, BYU, he had to play at the end, and Cornet Word he did. And then, so he wasn't really put in a good situation in the time of the game he was in. So this gave him a better opportunity, and we had, certain calls and specific plays that suited him a little bit better.
Coach, you talked about rotating the quarterbacks. What kind of advantages do you have with so much depth at that position?
Well, we knew we was going to have to use James at some point because with some of the run stuff with Cody, we knew he was going to get tired. And, different people I remember in the press conference, Gazzola asked me if, why did we break the rhythm? But Cody got tired, If you're a relief pitcher but you also do pinch running, it's not a big deal in baseball if you're a pinch runner and you're a relief pitcher. But if you become the starting pitcher and you're still relief running, for people, you're going to get tired pitching at the end of the game. I mean, your arm's going to start to go. So you got to have a break, until he gets in shape. And practice is different than the game. The game, everything's live. You get hit. You got to run faster. You probably run more plays in a game. So he needed a breather, and James was there to give him a breather, of course. He took every series after that. So he only came out for, I think, 3 plays.
You were committed when James was a starter. You're always committed to at least 1 or 2 drives with Cody.
Yes.
Are you committed to 1 or 2 drives with James now, or is that going to be as needed? Basically?
That's going to be as needed, and kind of who we're playing and how everything fits, how athletic maybe the defense is, what's their strengths. We know what James can do. James has got a lot of game experience, so it's not like you got to get him game experience. Cody needed game experience in case something was to happen to James. But now that they both got experience, I think we just play it how the game kind of plays out and what we need as an offense. I definitely don't want to break up momentum just to get a guy series, but if we need to get James in there because we got certain plays or Cody needs a break or whatever the case may be, we're going to use James because James is still a really good quarterback and he can do a lot of good things. But, it just depends on who we're playing against and what the scheme is that we're trying to attack or what we're trying to do.
Now, I know Ron can probably validate this deal, but I thought that Orgeron made the team better at the offensive line.
Yeah, offensive linemen don't have to be right all the time, and he can, if they get beat on a pass rush and he can escape the rush, of course, it helps him out, and also when you got a quarterback that can run, not everybody's just keying in on the running back, so your blocks get a little bit easier as well. So I think the energy that he provided in the game made the entire team better, and so we're going to continue to try to push and go that route.
I think, and like Ron probably said, is it was just the energy just started like an electrical thing, and from the bench over here to the bench over here, he just energized.
He did. It was needed, though. I mean, not to say that James didn't do that, but against Nichols, we had the same effect with James.
Yeah.
If you remember that game, there was the same energy. So James has the ability to do that, but it was just a time where we'd gotten stagnant offensively, and we were searching. We really were, and Cody gave us some play out of his legs, which allowed us to bring back some energy. And usually, if we start well, we play well.
Coach,
go ahead.
Yesterday, the Lamar game got moved up to 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. And I know you talked about it a little yesterday, but just can I get your thoughts a little more on just that game moving up and who the FCS committee decided to move it up for, just kind of research, making sure the brackets are fully done or anything. Can I just get your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't make the decisions to do that, of course. You know, me and Mr. Hemphill, Bruce, we get together and we take suggestions from what the committee said, and you know, we don't want something like that to happen to us, especially if we have a chance to get in the playoffs again, that we don't want to be the last game. And if that was a suggestion from whoever, whether it was the representative of our conference that sits on the board, which that guy now, he's from UCA, I think he's over the entire selection committee. If he thinks it's a good idea, then I think we need to listen to it and take notice. So we definitely, whatever we need to do for that, that don't happen to us again, being 9-2 and not getting in, that was horrible. Don't know if that was the reason, probably not, but if they suggest something, I think that we need to take note of it and probably move in that direction.
You've been disappointed in the crowds, to say the least. Every press conference you start with it. 3 o'clock start, if you get a big crowd, would you have to go to it and just stay off LSU schedule kind of, time-wise?
I don't think that's not the problem.
What time do we play?
It's gonna be 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock?
Against Lamar.
Oh, okay, but I mean, this game here, Southeastern, they had, they had 6 o'clock, I think.
It's 2:30.
Yeah.
Got moved up last week.
You know, with that, I was a player here, you know, and I came here at a time when we didn't win. We stopped winning from 82 or 83 all the way through 1990. So McNeese was hungry to win again. Not saying we had bad years, but you know, they went from McCann to Coach Jackson, and then Kiesler came in, and man, our crowds, they just want a winner. And in 91, we won conference. We were 6-3-2. And then the next year we came out second. The next year we went 9-2. And it was packed every game because people just wanted a winner. But now winning's not enough. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answer. I just, as a former player, I know what our players look for when they come home. They want to entertain a crowd. They want people behind them. And I know we lost in Cornet Word. I mean, but you don't come to the game because we lose. I mean, LSU lost to Florida. But the next week, I mean, they played Georgia, which was a big game. It's in their conference. UCA's in our conference. So I don't know. I don't have the answer. It's just I want what's best for our players. And I want them to experience what I experienced as a player. I don't care as a coach if there's 5 people out there. I'm not playing the game. I don't have to have energy as a coach. But the players feed off of energy. And our stadium, you know, we have good fans. And I appreciate the fans that are here, and we're going to entertain them. And I really don't want to get into all that. But it's just, I don't know. I just feel for the players. It's homecoming. LSU wasn't playing. We're playing for basically the lead in the conference. And we had 11,000 people. And somebody made the statement, you know, well, that's more than what we had. That's not McNeese's standard. McNeese's standard is higher than that. For us to say it's more just because it's 11,000 and not 10 or 9, that's not McNeese's way. I mean,
Well, I didn't think that.